Revisiting Super Mario Sunshine's greatest mystery 20 years later, the strange underwater book of Noki Bay. Artifacts of the past can be both haunting and intriguing. Thinking about the days of yesteryear and scraps of memories from our childhood can often take us down a rabbit hole. Gaming mysteries were always incredibly fun to discuss and talk about over the years. Most of the time, we will never truly know, but sometimes, later down the line, we can be pleasantly surprised when new information or a leak reveals something that finally puts the mystery to rest. Ella's Real 2401 comes to mind, and the crazy twist that 24 years and 1 month later, we finally had definitive proof that Luigi existed in Super Mario 64. Our boy in green became a real boy. I mean, based on Japanese interviews and the like, this was known, but seeing it for real changed everything. And every game from the past kind of has these types of mysteries. Sometimes, when you're not looking for your long-lost, deleted brother, sometimes you're looking for a book at the bottom of the sea. This is a Noki Bay book mystery, so I hope you enjoy this retrospective. 20 years ago. Yes, somehow it's been 20 years since players first wahooed through a sludge-filled island paradise. Isle Delfino had quite a lot of places we could visit and check out, and it truly felt like a vacation for someone like me, who hadn't ever really experienced a tropical island before. Off to the northwest side of this tropical island was Noki Bay, and it's at this place that the mysterious book resides. So we select this level, choose Mission 3, and get sucked into a giant bottle. This then warps us to the giant bottle in the sky, and inside the ruins at the very bottom of the bottle is where the mysterious book is found. It's kind of weird thinking about how long ago this was found, and yet we still ponder about it today. I mean, lots of players explore this area because it's the only geometry in the bottle itself. Of course, if you see a set of ruins at the bottom, you will naturally go over to them to explore, especially if you don't have all the red coins yet. A player would naturally think that perhaps within this structure there were more red coins. After all, there were 2 red coins hidden within its ruins, and as soon as the player sees a door, they're going to want to try to open it. I think it was a combination of these things that made the mysterious book such a renowned mystery. If your average player followed the breadcrumbs, there was a very high chance they would see the mysterious book. They get baited in by the red coins there, start to explore the structure, find a locked door, and then rotate the camera to see what is behind it. Repeat this over and over, player by player, and it's no wonder this mystery became as popular as it did. So of course, there's a lot to unpack here. Why was this scrapped? Was the door actually locked? What did the book do? Let's start with the door itself and the rumors surrounding it. Doors that don't open in games will always be the bane of any player. Mind you, there are lots of doors that don't open in this game, but by this point in the game, players would have checked out Serena Beach, the level that technically comes before Noki Bay. And of course, this hotel is full of doors that Mario can open. So when players encounter another door soon after underwater in Noki Bay, what do you believe they are thinking? Of course they want to open it, but perhaps, just like the doors in Hotel Delfino, this underwater door only opened from one side. Perhaps Mario would have to do something to be warped inside this room? He could then exit the room after grabbing the book. Or maybe Mario needed some sort of key to open it, something the Boomer could give you. Keep in mind, there weren't really any key-related items in the game, so a unique key item seemed like an outlier. But we all just got done playing Luigi's Mansion, and keys were used for practically every door in that game. So looking for a key wasn't a silly idea in theory. But there's also the idea that this door opened from Mario completing a certain action. And I think maybe Super Mario 64 is to blame for this one. In Super Mario 64, there is an underwater door within the castle moat. This door takes the player directly into the basement for the castle. However, this door cannot be opened while the water is present. Mario simply swims against the door and he cannot open it. The door isn't locked, it's just held in place by the water pressure. Actually, I don't know why Mario can't open this blasted underwater door, despite being able to in previous games. But because of game logic, it's stuck shut. Players remember this though, and then apply this logic to the next 3D Mario game. So the door won't open, but what if we drain the bottle? Is there a way to break the bottle open to drain the water out? Or a timed event that drains the water like in the sunken ship in Super Mario 64's Jolly Roger Bay? All these ideas are floating around as possible solutions because of what we remembered from our last 3D Mario experience. But of course, nothing we did unlocked or opened this door. Years later, when we gained the ability to actually look at the 3D files, it was obvious why. This door was just a solid 3D object that was merged with the ruins themselves. There was no animation associated with it, and it wasn't a separate object. For example, the doors in Hotel Delfino are 3D objects that are loaded in on top of the actual map object. They aren't combined and thus can be interacted with. They are placed, just like an enemy or coin is placed. But this door underwater isn't like that. In fact, the book itself isn't even like that. It's merged into one giant 3D object with the ruins with no separation. So that tells us that this book and door were abandoned as a concept before they were actually fully baked out. Or at least, that's what I believe. Otherwise, wouldn't there be some fragments of this left over somewhere in the files? That is, unless this whole book is just an Easter egg thrown in by a developer. So let's switch gears here because we focused on the door for a bit now. Let's talk about the book itself. I always like the book's binding because it looks like the layers of sand and dirt in the bottle itself. It has like a coral-like color palette to it. Almost like it's been down here so long that the minerals in the seawater have started to collect on it as it begins to get covered in sea life. The book itself has some sort of title on it, or at least a heading section. It kind of reminds me of those journals that you're supposed to write your name on. But other than that, we can't derive anything from the book by looking at it. But we can infer a couple things about this book based on its location. For starters, the book has to be the property of the old dude. I always found it odd that he is fishing in the bottle when we see the opening scenes for the level. He said that he made this setup so that we can train our underwater skills to eventually tackle the pollution problem with the bay. But this magic bottle is his own. He is the one who set up this challenge for us, so it's not too far of a stretch to assume this was his book. Some people hypothesize that this mission used to not have red coins in it at all. After all, there's already another red coin mission at Noki Bay. Now, additional red coin missions and sub-areas is not a new thing, as other levels do this too. But the bottle feels less like a sub-area, despite still being classified as one even in the game files. You have no choice but to go there upon starting up the level. If you don't, and modify the game so this doesn't happen, you'll find that the level is kinda broken. But it makes you wonder if this red coin mission was added after the book idea was scrapped. Did we originally have to retrieve this book? My headcanon is that this book is this dude's journal from when he was a kid. We don't know how long he's owned this magic bottle, but it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to assume this bottle never used to be flooded. He added the sand and built the ruins, but when he got older, he could no longer make the journey. So he pulled together a bunch of stuff from his past and repurposed it as a training course for Mario. It's kinda sad to think about in some way, like he flooded his old home for this. Lost underwater journals hit different, man. But of course, we don't know the true purpose of the book or why it was scrapped. Maybe at one point, unique collectibles were a thing within other levels too, but they decided to keep things simple and scrap them? There hasn't been any new information since the game came out, and even the revival of Super Mario 3D All-Stars didn't add anything new. Going back and reading the old forum posts about the book from 2002 to 2005 feels like a time warp. But unfortunately, a lot of these old records and discussions were lost as platforms closed down. Trying to browse automatic archives is a bit difficult too. It's been 20 years since the mystery began. One day, I hope some developer will come forth and comment on the book, or perhaps a beta build of Super Mario Sunshine will surface that has the mission still intact. Let me know your theories on the book in the comments below. Subscribe now if you enjoyed this nostalgia trip, and I'll see you all soon in my next video. Cheers!